fouling from San Jose State. Final 10 ticks will come off the clock here, and the Lobos will wrap it up. A New Mexico victory. Your final score today from Dixie State in St. George, Utah. UNM 67 and San Jose State 51. The Lobos end their 8-game conference slide.
Robert Portnoy on the UNM Radio Network. Happy days are here. I told you. I told you.
A new start, man. A new beginning. Y'all feel good about everything. And I think that was a Greg Remington-like woo from Hunter Green in the background. It's the opening drive. You made it to Friday, and you made it to a victory for Lobo basketball. 67-51. They beat San Jose State yesterday afternoon in Burns Arena in St. George, Utah. Woo! How you living? It's opening drive. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah producing at Radio Ranch, Alden and Josh on the TV side on ProView Networks. Woof, woof, woofing for you all the way home. What's good, man?
Well, the efficiency of McQuatch Malawatch is good, and that's the kind of game that he needs to play. I know we talk about what's his role going to be as a senior, as the best player on this team. Scored 25 points last night, but he let the game come to him. He didn't force it. He didn't try to do too much, including being an impact player on both ends of the floor. And it was a pretty good day for McQuatch Malawatch. Solid day for the Lobos. What you expect? They're still a better team than San Jose State because the Spartans are worse than the Lobos when it comes to offense. And when they bring that effort that they have had the last couple of games defensively, they're going to get by San Jose State.
Yeah, I'm not sure I was certain of that going in. Were you certain of that going in? I think I feel that way now.
But watching the game, I am.
Yeah, no, I feel that way now. I'm just not. 24 hours ago, I'm not sure that I was going to be able to sit here and tell you that with certainty. After watching what I watched yesterday, I can tell you that they look like a basketball team yesterday. They're not. They still don't shoot well. They still really struggle from 3-point land, 3 for 17. But they to me there were a couple of things. They didn't turn the ball over. And with these last couple of year Lobo teams, JJ, one of the stats, I know when we used to sit at the pit and we'd get those stat sheets, and every once in a while I would circle something and show you to you when we're sitting there courtside. I always look at the turnover thing with the last few years teams, and the fact they only turned it over 9 times, and Malawatch turned it over 4 of the 9. Nobody else had more than 1 turnover, which to me, it was the most telling stat of the day. McQuatch was efficient, 10 of 14 for his 25 points and 6 rebounds. And so, yeah, I wasn't as certain going in as I am now that they're better than San Jose State. Does that make them a good team? No, I don't think it does. But, man, it feels good to win. And, I said this after the Dixie State game on that press conference to those guys. I mean, it's just winning's fun. And so for a day and maybe another day tomorrow, enjoy this one and then take something and grow out of it and see if you can grow it into a win against somebody else. But that was nice. They look like a basketball team yesterday, and needed that. Boy, did they need that.
And Weir said it was the first really happy locker room that they've had this season. And that makes sense when you look at breaking the conference streak, beating a conference opponent, a team that you ended up splitting with last year, so it hasn't been a given in recent history over San Jose State. And you understand that because they played solid basketball. To your point on turnovers, it was Saquon Singleton and Isaiah Marin exclusively at the point guard position. So they didn't try to run Francis out there. They went Singleton started, Marin came off the bench, and they focused on those 2 guys exclusively in the backcourt. And I think that's the right step with Singleton taking over the job. And then you saw spurts, like the start of the second half when Marin came in. He had 2 really good assists. He looked comfortable. He was aggressive, solid awareness with the basketball. So that was a bonus in that regard for the Lobos at the point guard position. And then just defensively, what this team does, the effort has been good, and it's easy to let that all slide away when you are as bad as they are shooting the basketball. When everything is a struggle, when it's a grind. But they got some transition buckets. They're able to get downhill and then ultimately overwhelm San Jose State in the second half. So yeah, yesterday there was uncertainty of what's this game going to look like. Is the Lobos win? Are you going to care by how much. But ultimately, when it played out, and then you saw them run away from San Jose State in the second half, you're right. Like, yeah, they're still not good offensively when it comes to shooting the basketball, but they figured out, all right, for us to be successful this year, it's this half-court grind. It's going to have to be working our tails off defensively and just figuring out a way to get downhill to the basket. And I think Rod Brown also had a really solid game, bouncing back, being an effort, energy guy inside. And you see if you can do it again on Saturday.
Rod Brown's 15 points in his 32 minutes. Shortened the bench. 9 players played 12 minutes or more. Marin played 12, Matos only 14, and then you got some garbage minutes late for Francis and Johnson. So Paul said after the game he let the guys know that what he was doing with the point guard position, that it was going to be Saquon Singleton as the guy, and it was going to be Marin, and we're not playing musical point guards here, at least for now. He said, I'll let him know if it changes. I don't know what that means for the immediate for Jeremiah Francis. We'll see. There's something in me. When I watch him, I just want to see him blossom. I want to see him play. I want to see him get comfortable. But I get it, man. Those two guys have played their way to the top of the depth chart, if you want to use that term. But I thought Paul basically making a decision on the point guard thing 9 games into conference play probably needed to do that.
And it's also just a change of who they are, realizing that once you get into the season, they didn't really have an opportunity to see what a lot of these guys were going to look like until you got into game action. And this team was supposed to ideally be playing 10, 11 guys, a lot of them in a rotation, up-tempo basketball, full court press. So, yeah, you get why, and early on, he was throwing a lot of people out there, trying to figure out rotations, trying to run it. And now it's a realization of that is not the way this Lobo basketball team can play. It's going to be a grind. They have to slow it down. They're going to have to ugly it up. But along the way, tightening the rotation, at least temporarily, is a good thing for the point guard play. Letting both those guys come into their own a little bit. And I think for Francis, maybe playing off the ball a little bit, just an opportunity to maybe see some shots fall eventually in a different role. And maybe that allows him just to find some confidence, get in a groove, and then eventually, when needed, step up at the point guard position. But yeah, it's one that you're just waiting, because it is a bad slump for Jeremiah Francis still.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot of show for you today on a Friday. 8 o'clock this morning, we're going to talk some football. New Mexico State opens practice today, JJ. They've got games scheduled here in February against Dixie State and New Mexico Highlands and Tarleton. Where will they play? We know they can practice, and I think that's a big deal. So we're going to catch up with Doug Martin as they get set to open camp. They did not play football this fall. They watched everybody else, or just about everybody else, play football this fall. So now Doug Martin's going to be able to get his players out on a field, and on a field in New Mexico. And the timing was perfect for that. So we'll catch up with him coming up at 8 o'clock. Want you to get involved today because there's so much going on at 505-246-0610. You can send me an email, Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. Find JJ on the Twitter. It's _JJ Bucket on the Facebook. The OD in the AM, and you can watch the show there. We've got conference championship games in the National Football League, the Bucks and the Packers, the Bills and the Chiefs. You've got McGregor and Poirier this weekend. You got a little basketball to talk about, the Olympics news. Congratulations to Ron Murphy, the head baseball coach out at Rio Rancho High School, for being named National Coach of the Year. You got United news. So, JJ, we got a big Friday sitting in front of us. I don't know if the biggest word is big or Friday, but you decide. Want to talk more about Lobo basketball when we get back. Are the Aggies going to play again? And where do we go now? And is why I think tomorrow's not a given, by the way, against San Jose State. Don't sleep on the Spartans tomorrow, because that may be a tougher game than yesterday was. 505-246-0610. Glad you're with us on Friday on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
You've seen Rich Eisen on TV and heard him on the radio.
Madrid. Plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot up by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With his first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says.
Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return.
Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it. They're really... Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District mashup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh! Big Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Duma Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win.
And he got it!
It's good.
Oh my God!
On the last second shot.
He did. Oh my God!
Bakes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double teamed and somehow found a way to get it in.
Ramos to Gaxiola. High window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
So I think our defense carried us, particularly I think just the outset of the game and kind of establishing the way we wanted to play and winning with defense. And I would like to have kept them under 50, but unfortunately they made a tough contested three late. So yeah, to me it's our defense, and hopefully continue going forward to be our rebounding.
Paul Weir, courtesy of UNM Radio Network, after the Lobos' 67-51 victory over San Jose State yesterday. 51, you old opponents of 51, you're going to win most of the time, but not all the time. And you know, if that was your goal and you need something to go back into the film room and say, we didn't hit this goal, all right, coach, there you go. You got something to talk about. They break an 8-game conference losing streak and beat San Jose State. JJ, I don't think it's easy tomorrow. I think we've watched the second game of these series, typically, not always, be much closer. There's been a lot of blowouts in the Mountain West, a lot of blowouts throughout the season. But even the Lobos against UNLV, in the last series in which they played, their second game was closer. I keep going back to what San Jose State did against Boise State in the second game. They got beat by 40 in the first game at Boise State, and then almost won the second game. So I don't think it's easier, but enjoy what you had yesterday because, boy, Lobo fan needed that.
Yeah, you talk to any coach in the league on either side playing this format, and they'll tell you the second game is completely different than the first. You try to go out there and do the same thing, like, hey, this is what worked. But also, I look at San Jose State, and that's a team that I could see somehow, some way, just hitting more shots. And all of a sudden, you look up and go, oh, man, they've made 7 3-pointers. And this is a different day entirely because you can still have a bad shooting day. But if you hit 7, 8 3-pointers, that changes everything for you in terms of the game, especially against a team like New Mexico. So I'm right there with you. You feel good about what you can do against San Jose State, but game 2 is a different beast.
Well, if you need any proof of that, if you are sitting there just going, yeah, whatever, Jeff, it's San Jose State, we're going to pump them again. 3 nights ago, Utah State pounded Colorado State up in Logan. Pounded them. 2 nights after that, they lost 84-76. Last night in Mountain West Conference play, Colorado State handed Utah State the Aggies' first conference loss, 84-76. So if you're looking for what I'm talking about, please just look right there. Look, I'm not telling you it happens every time, but it's happening. I'm going to tell you, I think the majority of the time, these second games don't look just like the game did 2 nights ago.
They do look completely different, whether it's shot making or just little adjustments, because you don't have a lot of time. You just come back one day, maybe watch some film, and sometimes it is as simple as you just hit more shots, or you get a different bounce early in the game, which sets you off. You've seen it so many times on both sides, watching the men and women play this format or response from whether it was a team losing game 1 and playing better game 2, or winning and then being in a slugfest and or losing game 2 like we just saw with Colorado State and Utah State. So it's a good feeling. You hope to carry over the confidence because everything is not going to exactly be the same. And I'm right there with you. I think the game that we watch tomorrow between San Jose State and New Mexico, absolutely the Spartans could end up hitting some 3-point shots and making this game look different. But status unknown, thing you do have to point out, they played most of the second half without their best player. I think it was pretty much the entire second half, if I'm not mistaken, Richard Washington being out of that game. And then that just makes it that much more tougher for San Jose State if the one dude that's at least made shots from all year long isn't there.
So Lobos win 67-51. And again, Utah State got beat at home last night, 84-76 by Colorado State, which, again, I watched the game 2 nights ago. I didn't watch last night's game, but I watched the game 2 nights ago, and there was no way Colorado State was going to come back and beat them. That was a 21-point game, I think 21 or 19. And it just shows you. I mean, and that's a huge win for Colorado State, by the way. Huge win for Colorado State. So they have now both split with San Diego State and Utah State on the road. It's huge for the Rams.
Yeah, and they're good. You look at just the 3 players in Stevens, Roddy, and Moore, and Nico Medved's got something nice with his Colorado State team. And I saw a lot of people last night saying, too, that what happened last night was actually the best win of the season. Yeah, they had that crazy comeback against San Diego State, which is still a game you're going to look back and go, how did that happen? How did the Aztecs end up blowing that game? But a lot in Ramland really looking at this as the statement that they've made so far this season, and it's 2 really good wins for a team that now is right there. I'm looking up at Boise State and Utah State, but knowing, we can play with you guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing, because I think is that the next series. I have to double check, but I think that's the next series is Boise State, Colorado State. So that should be fun.
That's nice. Yeah, that's nice. All right. 15 years ago today, you know what happened 15 years ago today in the sports world? It could be one of those do you remember where you were moments. I don't think it gets to that moment, but today is the 15-year anniversary of Kobe Bryant scoring 81 points in a game. 15 years ago today, Kobe Bean Bryant dropped 81 on the Cavaliers, which is insane. And are we like where's the 1-year anniversary of his death? Did we miss it? Are we on it? It's got to be like any day.
There's no way we missed it. Like that's not a day you miss. But the 81-point game, that feels like something that every other month for some reason. Like, we're talking about Kobe and 81 points. It's just, maybe it's an NBA TV thing, but what he did to the Toronto Raptors that day, and Jalen Rose.
Yeah, and Jalen Rose. 81 points people say all the time, there ain't no way I'm going to let a guy do that. I mean, I'm going to beat him up. I'm going to foul him. Kobe went for 81 against Toronto. Last night of the NBA, Lakers 113, Bucks 106. So this is two significant Bucks losses, I think, in the last couple of days. LeBron went for 34, hit the big shot late. I'm really struggling buying into the Bucks, and I know you are too. At some point, they've got, and that point doesn't have to be in January, by the way. But at some point, they got to prove that they can beat somebody besides the bottom of their conference, right?
They do. And it's a crazy thing to say, but the NBA MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, needs to become a better basketball player. Last night, it was just a case of him trying to do too much. He was trying to single-handedly beat the Lakers by himself in the first half, and he had 7 turnovers. In the second half, he started playing his game, rebounding, getting out in transition, being a monster, attacking the basket, and Milwaukee played better. So I think there was a sense of just Giannis really trying to prove a point, prime time going up against LeBron James, AD, the defending champs, and it didn't work out for him. But there's still aspects of his game that he has to become better at. And it's crazy to think about an NBA MVP that way, but it's what he has to do. There's times where he doesn't need to initiate the offense. Like, you get Chris Middleton, you get Drew Holiday running sets. Maybe you get inside a little bit more because you are the freak. You have ridiculous talent to where you should still take over games, but it's still a step. And that's why Milwaukee the last 2 years has been frustrated losing in the postseason. It was to the Raptors, Kawhi Leonard shut him down, and then running into Miami, things that shouldn't happen to a team like that. But you still have all the hesitation because so far in the marquee matchups, they've been on the other side. I think the biggest takeaway for me is LeBron James at 36 is still going to show up for these moments, and he did last night. But I was super interested in the lineup that they used to close out the game. Schroeder, KCP, Alex Caruso with LeBron and Anthony Davis, and it works to finish off the Bucks.
Yeah, big win for LA, 113-106, coming off that loss to the Warriors the other night. All right, Rudy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline, coming off the first conference win of the year for Lobos. Good day, sir.
Fire Craig Smith. He's a horrible coach. He lost to Colorado State.
Yeah, probably.
Doesn't that sound like some people have been calling in? New Mexico is showing that they do have coaches. They do know how to work. I mean, this whole thing comes down to what I've been saying. You don't play 5-on-5 basketball for 7 months. You look like you did to start the season. Now that they're able to get out there and play against some people, and that's what preseason conference games are for. I'll never forget the Mark Smith knock on the Lobos of the parade of patsies and all that. That was all designed so that you could win your conference games. And so there's so many people out there that think they know more about college basketball. I want to say one thing. Makac Malwatch hasn't gotten any of the credit that he deserves, and he's gotten a lot of the blame. But, to be the only lone senior left standing and to play the way he's playing is truly amazing. And I did listen to Coach Weir's press conference last night after the game, and I agree with everything he said about Makac Malwatch. That guy is a superior human being.
Yeah,
and that's what we should be going for.
Yeah.
And I listened to Rod Brown. I mean, these kids want to win. They want to win as bad as you want them to win, as bad as I want them to win. But sometimes you just don't win because you're not there experience-wise. And until you put that experience in your bank, you can't draw on it.
Yeah, I think Makac has been a great. I think he's been a really good Lobo. I don't think he's a great. I think he's been good, and I think if he's taken the blame, and I don't know that I feel that he's taken too much of the blame. I think if he's taken the blame, I think it's because he's been forced to play out of position and do something that really it's not who he is or what he is as a player.
Yeah, but he's adapted. His shooting had been off. Last night he was 10 of 14, and he looked like the Makac Malwatch that we were all hoping he would be this year. I think moving 2 guys to the point, and it just didn't work out with Jeremiah this year, I think that's going to help a lot. I like Saquon Singleton's length and the way that he can attack the basket. And their calling card's going to be defense the rest of the year. They're not going to outscore anybody, but you can win playing defense and taking good shots. And now that they are beginning to understand where the shots are going to come from, it's going to make a big difference. And, you know, Leon Rice continues to amaze me about how tone-deaf he is. When he took over that program and Boise State was nothing, could you imagine Alford and all the coaches saying, we don't think Boise State belongs at the tournament?
Yeah, I wonder how much is this year or how much is him just saying that. But no, I can't imagine that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, my observations of Leon Rice have led me to a different conclusion than most people. I just don't think that I think he's got a real weird streak in him, and I think he's kind of a weird dude. But, you know, he's the coach at Boise State, and they're the team that we got to beat, and Utah State. And I look at Matos, and he can be good. He can be a fine post player, but he has no game experience at the D1 level. And I don't think people understand how hard it is to move up.
Yeah,
it's a huge move.
Right, and you'll see growth in him over the years, Rudy. You will. I mean,
yes.
He's a guy that
and you know, I don't know what to say about San Jose. I mean, they had one of the best players in the country just opt out and head to LSU, and that's going to continue happening. I think the next move, maybe Jeff Grammer can put some more pressure on the governor. I don't understand why they can't play home games in an empty pit. Do you?
I no, and I'm going to guess it's because his team's coming in. But no, I don't, to be honest with you.
But every team that comes in,
I know, is going through the same
COVID
protocol. I know.
I mean, you know, the now this has to shift, and maybe the governor did finally feel pressure, and if she did, good, because punishing our kids the way they've been punished is just not acceptable. I'm never going to accept that.
Yeah, I know.
And so I hope we can move forward in a much more positive fashion. The damage that has been done to our youth in this state by this insane lockdown is going to be felt for a few years. And the sooner we're over this and the sooner the kids can get back to being kids and playing, one of the things I've always said to my daughter, I wanted her to be a kid as long as she could be because she's got the rest of her life to be an adult.
Fair enough. Rudy, enjoy the weekend. Thank you.
You too. Be well.
JJ, I agree with him on the kid thing. I wonder, and I worry about them academically, how far behind kids are. You hear about all the kids that they've lost that just aren't doing online school, and how these kids, basically it's going to be a full school year. And March 12th is going to be a full year that schools have been closed down. I do worry about them. Certainly, the emotional, the mental health and sports. But I worry about them academically. I mean, when they go on to Spanish 2 from Spanish 1, what did they really learn online next year? And how can these kids come back from what they're going through? And I sat on a seminar the other day. Oh no, the online school's working. The kids say it's great. Okay, all right. I'm watching firsthand a pretty good student, and I don't know that I think it's great.
Hopefully, we don't have another global pandemic for a while after this.
Yeah, let's hope not. Right? Let's hope not. All right, 505-246-0610. You can get in. Doug Martin's going to join us at 8 o'clock. We're going to talk about the Aggie football team that's going to start practice today. Yep, practice. In our state. In this state. We're talking practice. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh. There's the long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go.
Or driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good. Nice pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbelan's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbelan wants to put it down. Here comes Mascucci's Brown. You can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Rashawn in transition, 3-on-2. Rashawn going to go all the way. Oh, Morgan.
Has that ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Over dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass. Wrap around pass.
Harris, Legate, the long bomb, 3-ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
The whole little jump step in the... And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits.
Jackson loses it. Jalen Bond back, alley-oop, put it down. Dunkalicious, how about it?
Okach on the inbound, saves it to Vic Scheider. A run out for the Lobos, and a dunk for Malawach. Malawach with 25.
Robert Portnoy, UNM Radio Network. 25 for McQuatch Malawach. He had 6 rebounds to go with that. 4 turnovers led the team there as well. Only 9 turnovers for the entire club. 67-51. Now, Lobos get their first conference win of the season, beating San Jose State. JJ, I just got a text. A buddy of mine said, look at San Jose State's 3-point shooting. They were brutal. Yeah, they were 3 for 20. Do you know what New Mexico was?
Not much
3 for 17. So combined, 6 for 37 between those two teams. There were just a lot of bricks being thrown, and nobody's there's just no good 3-point shooting team. They're not. Malawach had 2 of them. He was 2 of 5, and Marin had 1. Or if you listen to the broadcast, Marin. Other than that, man, Manuel Quach was 0 for 4. And keep in mind, Washington, the best player for San Jose State, didn't play the second half. He only ended up playing 13 minutes and hoisted 1. They're like bet the under. Like, I don't even know. Do you know what the over-under was on this game?
No.
It had to be more than 118, right? I mean, I would guess it would be more than 118. I don't know. But you got your victory yesterday, and Lobos win. Hey, congratulations to Ron Murphy, the Rio Rancho baseball coach, the Rio Rancho High School baseball coach, National Coach of the Year, which is a big honor for him. He's been out there, and they've had a great program out there for so many years. It's a weird year to get it right when there's no sports going on in our state. But this is a really cool honor for him. With everything that he's done out there, he wins that honor from the National Association, and congratulations to him. I don't think that's any small feat in what they've been able to do. I love when I see these coaches who have done so much, and we don't love to. I hear high school athletics around here getting bashed all the time. We don't have good this. We don't have good this. We got some really good coaches, and he's as good as there's been. And congratulations to him.
Yeah, we do have some really good coaches around the state. It's been a year unlike anything else for them as well. The challenges that they faced with their student athletes and trying to keep a team together when you can't do anything team related. They've had to come at things different ways and just pretty much be a personnel manager unlike ever before in a situation like this. So definitely congrats. And yeah, there's a lot of talented coaches and young student athletes in the state of New Mexico.
Yeah, so good on him. That's good stuff. All right. The highlights of the weekend is going to be McGregor and Poirier. They're fighting in Abu Dhabi. They both made weight this morning. McGregor, 155 pounds. Poirier, 156. It is UFC 257. It's the second fight between these two, what they call lightweights at that weight. The first one was back in 2014 when they fought at 145 pounds, and Conor knocked Poirier out a minute 46 into it with that left hand. And that was Poirier's last fight before he moved up. This is intriguing, and I know Conor's getting all the love, and everything's about Conor being back. And in some cases, I don't even think people know who he's fighting. I think he may get beat tomorrow night.
This is one. It shows. It doesn't have to always be a trash-talking match or a huge build-up, because that hasn't been Conor and Dustin. They haven't been going back and forth. Press conference yesterday was normal. And the thing Conor is actually trying to do in the lead-up to this fight is talking about Khabib. Not about Poirier, but take shots at Khabib, who, of course, retired after winning his last fight as the champion of the division. So he's been trying to take shots at Khabib to draw him back out and going for that rematch, because Khabib, of course, beat up Conor McGregor. So he's already playing that long game, where I'm excited to see him fight. I enjoy Conor McGregor. Yeah, sometimes it's been the buildup, whether he's going at the Diaz brothers. But this is still a quiet buildup. It should just be a good fight in the octagon. Looking forward to it, because whether he wins or loses, he's entertaining in the octagon, and it doesn't always have to be him flapping his gums outside of it. And this week shows just that. People are going to be like, oh yeah, I'm intrigued. This is a good moment for the UFC on Saturday night. And I'm with Conor. I think Conor, it's going to be a tough fight, because I think Poirier has grown just like Conor McGregor has over the last few years. But Conor looks locked in. He looks stout. I think we'll find out cardio anytime you're away that long, get back in the octagon. But I think Conor gets it done.
So I think there's times to hype it, right? I'm going to take the Mayweather thing out, because that was such a different, bizarre, wacky, crazy, stupid, lovely world tour of promotion. But in this one, it almost feels like he doesn't need to go on that press conference rant. Like his absence made this audience grow fonder. His absence created a hunger, right? He's been gone for how long? What was the last time Conor fought?
About a year.
Okay. And so for this audience, as much as they love watching UFC, and I give a lot of credit to the way UFC's marketed itself, they were the first game back. They found Fight Island. Like, Dana's done a lot of really, really, really good things. But as good as everybody is, and you can tell me Khabib was great, and you're right, and Poirier, and every name you give me still comes back to Conor, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, John Jones is out.
He's a draw. Absolutely.
And that's why I don't know that in this particular fight he needed to do that. I think if you do it every time, what makes it spectacular? And so it's interesting that your attention was drawn to the lack of trash talk, the lack of drama, the lack of all that BS, but people love it at the press conference. And I almost think it's strategic. I don't think they needed it in this fight. I think this fight almost stood for itself.
Yeah, and it's one that, even if you enjoy the theater of it, because that's all it is in the lead-up and press conferences, you know when it's fake too. And if Poirier is just kind of in their focus, fighting Conor McGregor, he knows the stage, knows what it means. But if you just start throwing shots to throw shots and they're not landing verbally, then it's not going to matter. Like the other stuff that we've talked about is it's legit. The Diaz brothers didn't like Conor McGregor, or Conor going at Khabib. Like that got messy. It got pretty bad too, and it started to get into the family. Like it was legit. Like, okay, these dudes really do not like each other versus just trying to say something to say something.
Yeah, I will tell you this: the Mayweather McGregor world tour of smack talking, where they were putting on live comedy shows every other day or whatever it was, I enjoyed that almost as much as Bernie memes popping up everywhere. Like that was just flat out funny, and you could tell me it was stupid, and you're right. And you could tell me it was childish, and you're right. And you could tell me it was moronic, and you're right. And guys, that's a funny one that me Mike has got. But I laughed so damn hard because they knew it was such garbage, and they played it up, and they bought into character. And I don't know, for me, that was my favorite.
We all knew it. We all saw it was a circus. It felt like a Will Ferrell movie of like if Will Ferrell made a fighting movie, that was what the entire buildup would be to the fight. It was just those guys going back and forth, and we enjoyed the entertainment for what it was. Two guys trying to hype up a fight, which we knew ultimately wasn't going to be any good, and it wasn't. But at least they did a good job of verbally attacking each other.
It was good. It was good. You got that Bernie meme that Mike had just put up on ProView was pretty good in the ring, or in the octagon. You got a favorite one? Him showing up on the NWA album cover was pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, there's been a lot of funny ones. There is a GIF with someone.
If I'd have done that, you'd call me old.
Yeah,
just saying.
GIF, whatever. Someone walking up and he opens a chair. He has like one of those foldable chairs. He opens it up to get ready to sit down. So it's like people use it like, oh, I'm here for this conversation. Boom. Well, there's one where it's that, but as it opens up, it's Bernie sitting in the chair. Yeah, this one. That's my favorite one.
That's actually really funny. That's
ProView right
so
now.
Good. It's good. Yeah, you can watch the show on ProView and you'll see what we're talking about in some of these. All right, we got to take a break. Doug Martin at 8 o'clock this morning, the New Mexico State football coach. They're the first. Well, they're not. I don't know. The Lobos will get home today. Aggies go today. Have the women been practicing? They may be the first of NMSU and UNM to practice. I guess volleyball's been practicing as well. Anyway, they get to start practice. Football does. They got a spring season coming up. So we'll talk to him about where they are and what they've been able to do. That's at 8 o'clock. I'll get you some emails. I got a bunch coming in already. Jeff at 610knml.com. Your opinions next on the opening drive on ProView Networks at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Tries to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hotnet sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. BC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh. Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Bars Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam on home.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He
Touchdown,
got in.
Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up off the middle, it's got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds, into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Portel.
The outside of running an out route. Davis in the play action, looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown. Back to tossing, he's got all day. It's one miss, and he's rolling. He's got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
Hey, we told you he
touchdown.
could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the win in his back, but.
This is the best I ever been for sure, and I'm at 155 pounds. But, you know, if I go back to 170 pounds, you best believe that'll be the best I'll be at also. So it is what it is.
Conor McGregor, get ready to fight in Abu Dhabi tomorrow. McGregor Poirier, did you buy the fight?
I think I might this weekend.
Really?
I'm going to be in.
Next week's the big birthday drive-by, right?
Yes.
Not this weekend.
Sunday.
All right. Next week. All right. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck.
Have it on a conference championship Sunday. Are you crazy, Jeff?
Fair enough. Yeah, that'd be bad. You took the one in between that and the Super Bowl, because I'm sure if the birthday was this weekend, Tilly would have said, "Oh, of course, JJ. Yeah, let's just delay the celebration because the Buccaneers are playing the Packers, so we wouldn't want that. Let's do it next weekend." Yeah.
Celebrate your son's birthday around football.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure Tilly. Well, at least she had the child around football and found the gap week in there. It was very nice of her.
Works out very well this year.
Yeah, for the record, UNM volleyball, women's basketball, golf have been practicing already. So New Mexico State football does not get to be first. They do not.
And we know if you're not first, you're last.
Well, at least you're happening though in this case, and if you're first or last or whenever, you're happening. All right. Let me get you a few emails. The relief was palpable, said Lobo Hobo. You could see when Weir shook his fist as Lobo basketball crossed the finish line that a disaster had been avoided. You asked yesterday why the early post time, and it was because the junior varsity teams play first. Oh, damn. There was probably a varsity game scheduled on the St. George hardwood later that day. Lobo Hobo. That's messed up. What was it? Sigma Chi playing Tau Kappa Epsilon or something on that court later?
The freshman team at the court.
Yeah, there was a frat game or something.
Basketball, 1 o'clock.
Dang. All right. Yeah. All right. Rod's in on the Mountain West tournament. All right. So he's drawn an analogy here. Does the Mountain West tournament, JJ, equal a 14-year-old girl? Certainly piques my interest because I have a 14-year-old child. He says, I'm sure you've noticed there are chicks who are called early bloomers. They get all the boys' attention. The Mountain West Conference tournament isn't for them. Then there are girls who are late to develop. That's who the Mountain West Conference tournament is geared for. For a late developer like Lobo basketball, why would they still be playing without that opportunity? They aren't getting an at-large bid. The NIT is out of the question. It's from Rod. So Rod's saying, I think, that the Lobos are that chick that's somewhat homely at 14, but by the time she's a senior, she's smoking hot and is a late bloomer, and she still should be able to play, I think. Is that what I kind of heard? Is that and because the Lobos beat San Jose State last night, they're going to be hot by the time we hit the finish line here?
They're going to be the one you want to take to the dance.
I see your analogy now. All right. Sure. Yes, Rod. They're just like 14. The conference is just like a 14-year-old girl. I'm down. How can we bottle the game from my favorite player, McQuatch Malwatch, Jeff? If he plays like that every night, Lobo basketball has a puncher's chance against the Aztecs and everybody else in this league. It's from Telus. You can play San Jose State every day. How do you bottle that? You don't. You don't. Like, he's a good player, man. And I'll tell you how you can get a performance like that from him on a regular basis. Get performances from Rod Brown and other players as well where he doesn't have to do everything. Get other players to play at a level that Saquon Singleton is starting to play. And where McQuatch Malawatch doesn't have to do everything, and you're going to start getting better performances out of McQuatch Malawatch.
Absolutely. Now, I think still Malawatch can be more efficient basketball player overall, and he addressed that yesterday. You're talking about he was trying to force it. He was trying to be that guy a little too much the last couple of games. And yesterday it was the second half he took off. So they were in the game plan. He was impacting both ends of the floor, and then he was able to assert himself, as the game went on. And maybe, San Jose State's focus started to shift a little bit from him being top of the scouting report to just, how are we going to just try to survive? Now the Lobos are actually scoring inside against us. And then you saw his offense take over, hit some open shots, get inside, but he is at his best when he is just active on both ends of the floor. I thought he was a really good presence defensively yesterday, chipping in, rebounding, moving the basketball, and then you, to everyone's point, get a performance like that when he lets the game come to him, and then he's able to show his talent.
Yeah, I think, there was just a panic turnover under the basket again. I'd like to see him take care of the ball a little bit more. He had 4 turnovers, led the team last night, but that's nitpicking. I thought he was very good. I thought he was very
1 minute.
active defensively as well. All right, changing gears when we come back. Practice, it's a big day down south at New Mexico State, and it's not typically January 22nd where we're having these conversations, but as you know, there's nothing typical about what's going on right now in the world. We catch up with Doug Martin. Doug Martin's the head football coach at New Mexico State. They open practice today and have some games scheduled. So we'll catch up with him next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the 3, and he buries it. Gonna be coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul. Right here by Lewis all the way. Coast to coast. And finish. What a...
Around the screen. Against White. Step back. It's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition. Ahead to hit on. Hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Has to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance. And it's put up. And it's good. What a 3 that is by Jalen.
Hito puts it up. Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domino Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell.
So typically you'd hit January 22nd and maybe be starting workouts for football. Oh, we're starting workouts for football, but it's nothing close to typical. What's good, y'all? We'll get back to your phone calls in a bit. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck, glad you're with us on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Football season just about ready to start down in Las Cruces, and it'll be an abbreviated season. Aggies open up practice today. They have games scheduled for February 20th, 27th, and March 6th against Tarleton State, New Mexico Highlands, and Dixie State. Of course, New Mexico State did not participate in the fall football season like the majority of FBS college football teams did. Their head football coach is Doug Martin, and he joins us this morning on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. A belated Happy New Year to you, Doug. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Happy New Year, guys.
Well, happy football season. How bizarre is this? You've been doing this for the majority of your adult life, and you get into routines like we all do. There's nothing routine about anything that's going on. January 22nd, you're opening camp, and you got 3 games on the schedule staring at you.
It's different, that's for sure. We've been off the field for over a year. So, we've got 43 scholarship players that have never played a game here, and that's unique. And it's really like we've got a whole new team, a whole new program, which was a little bit needed, honestly. We need to get some new blood in here with some guys that have some enthusiasm about playing and some better talent, and we think we've done that. So it's an exciting day for us to go out and work with these guys.
Throwing the uncertainty of up until 2 days ago, not even knowing if you were going to be able to practice. We talked to you about a month and a half ago, and you said, if we had to go out of state, we're going to go out of state. You don't know where you're able to play these games, but at least you know you can practice on campus starting today.
Yeah, and the practices are the most important thing, Jeff, for us. Normally you get only 15 practices in a spring practice, and 3 of those have to be in helmets only. So you're talking about really 12 meaningful practices. We're going to get 29 before we play the first game. And so that's really valuable to us. Again, like I said, we've got a lot of guys that have never played a game here, a lot of junior college transfers that have come in here that we need to get some playing experience. So everything we're doing this spring is just designed to get us ready for 2021 fall season. So the games, we'd love to play the games, but the games are more important for us to get everybody in, let everybody play, and treat them more like preseason games or scrimmages, just to get some guys some experience to get ready for 2021.
So on these games, is Tarleton, New Mexico Highlands, Dixie State, are they all still committed? They're doing spring football, and if so, where do you think you're playing these games?
Yeah, I don't think we'll be playing any of the games in New Mexico. I think that's probably out, but Tarleton is working on some sites for us to play in Texas. I know that Mario has been talking with their athletic director about that and where we can do that. Same things for when we play Dixie, possibility of playing somewhere in Texas. And so we'll see how those things work out. That's more an administrative issue than in my wheelhouse. I'm really more just concentrate on the playing right now, the practices, and getting those things going and getting us ready.
Doug, what did you learn about yourself or your team over the fall when you were away and you had to handle things differently without football?
Yeah, that's a great question. I tell you what, it enabled us to have a lot of time for recruiting. We've recruited 2 classes. We recruited a class, we didn't play a season, then we recruited another class. So I thought our coaches did an incredible job of getting out and finding guys that we probably normally would not have found. Eli Johnson, the center, that's a grad transfer from Ole Miss that started 12 games the season before at Ole Miss. That's an example of that we've kind of type of guy we've added to the program. So we worked hard on that. The other part that we worked on hard was just developing leadership and the right people within our program. We had a lot of the wrong people that left our program, which has made us a lot better. But we really feel good about the people we've got here right now. I think the talent level is as high as it's ever been. I know we've got the best offensive line we've ever had since I've been here. So that's the type of things we've been working on. And I think that's really paid off, looking at our guys right now. We were talking the other day in our staff room that, in 2017 when we won the Arizona Bowl, that team disciplined itself. The players ran that. Larry Rose, Dalton Harrington, Jaden Wright, all those guys, they were the leaders of that team. They were the guys that handled everything. All we did was coach. And that's really where we're headed again now with this group. It's been fun to watch these guys police themselves, and they're going to have to do that really heavily during this COVID time. Players can't go out. You just can't be around, bars and restaurants and people. They've got to stay isolated as much as they can, and the leadership on our team right now getting that done has been remarkable.
Mexico State head football coach Doug Martin joining us. Doug, are you a football watcher? What did you do this fall? Did you try to pick up more things you can implement? Were you talking to maybe colleagues in a time that you don't usually get to talk to them? What kind of things did you do to grow?
Yeah, I think for all of us that gave us a lot more time to maybe study other people that we like to watch, offenses or defenses that we think we are similar than and can help us. So, yeah, we spent a lot of time doing that, a lot of time trying to just pick the brains of different people in professional football and college football. So, yeah, we did a lot of that.
Doug, how was this season for you? I got to believe it was extremely frustrating, certainly different. And in retrospect, now that we sit here on January 22nd, was not playing the right decision for New Mexico State?
Yeah, it was frustrating. We were one of only 2 FBS teams that didn't play. It was us in Connecticut. So, when you're watching everyone else play, that is frustrating. It was frustrating for our players also. But I do think, Jeff, you bring up a good point. Is it going to turn out better for us? That's still to be seen, but I think it probably will. I was talking to Dana Demmel, the head coach at UTEP, who's, a good friend of mine, and Dana was just telling me the struggles that they had gone through during the season of, practicing and then having to shut down, and then practicing and then shutting down. It was just hard to get better as a football program. And I can see that you can see that across the country. And so hopefully, if we can get these practices in without having to shut down periodically, then I think certainly this can be a better advantage for us and a better way of doing it.
I've got back and forth on this, and I thought, wow, there would have been so many opportunities. Now, you'd have played a lot of games on 4 or 5 days' notice because you could have basically been the team that filled in, right? There's always teams looking for games. But where would you have practiced? The uncertainty of knowing that you weren't going to be able to practice here. Going to El Paso during football season doesn't really feel like it was going to be any sort of an alternative for you because of the spread and where El Paso was with COVID. And so I don't know where I am as far as do I think it was the right decision with all that.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think right now, we know so much more about the virus and how to maintain it, how to stay away from it, how to avoid it. There's just a lot more knowledge out there right now. So this is probably a better time to be trying to play and do things. So, but again, it's going to take a lot of discipline from our players and our coaching staff to get this done the right way. But I feel pretty confident that our players can do it. They've handled everything really well so far.
Doug, so what does the plan look like? Is it kind of focused on strength and conditioning out of the gate? How do you build them up as you start practice?
Yeah, that was one of the other advantages of having the year of not playing. The weight room time for us was extensive. So we really made tremendous gains in strength and conditioning all that time that we weren't playing. So that's really not the issue right now. It's really all about us playing. The thing, not being on the field in over a year concerns me a little bit with just jumping right out there and starting to play. So, we're going to take a couple of days off each week just to ease our guys into this because, our guys haven't hit anybody or done any fundamental football things in a year. So I think we do have to be cautious about how we approach this and how fast we just get back into full-speed practices and practicing every day and those type of things. So there's some things that we're going to be fluid with and learn as we go along here too.
He's New Mexico State football coach Doug Martin with us on the opening drive. The Aggies open up. Is it spring practice today? I mean, they're going to start a spring schedule. Doug, how does this work? Do you roll spring practice in together? What are you allowed to do? And are you going to have this season and then another spring camp? How does this all work logistically?
Yeah, this is our spring. This is our spring football, but the difference is we're not in the spring rules that everybody else is. Like I said, everybody else that does spring practice, they're going to get 15 days of practice, 3 days in helmets. We get 29 practices, and
why is that?
Our practice schedule is really exactly like you would have when you come in the summer. So this spring we will be doing what we would normally do when we come in the summer. One of the reasons for only playing 3 games at the most is I didn't want to continue the season too far because our guys are going to be right back here in the summer and play again. And we didn't want to, tax the players too much by playing, say 7, 8 games this spring. That wouldn't have been advantageous for our players when they got to turn around and play again in the summer.
I got to believe these young men are thrilled to get back on the field. They played football their whole life. They watched everybody else play. I mean, have you been able to gauge, I'm sure you have, just where these young men are emotionally?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I mean, they're excited about being on the field. They're excited about getting to compete, show what they can do. So, yeah, when you have something that you've done your whole life, like these kids, and that you love, and you have it taken away from you, it really teaches you to appreciate it a lot more, too. So I think there's probably a lot more appreciation for getting to play college football that our guys have right now. And hope that'll stay with them for a while.
Doug, with the Western Athletic Conference bringing back football, of course, at the FCS level, and you guys are steadfast, you're an FBS football team with a schedule that's out through about 25-26. What do you think of the move, and do you think that this league potentially could be FBS football and a home for New Mexico State?
I think anybody moving up for football is good for college football. Any conferences like that, the WAC can start football again, I think just in generally for college football, that's a good thing. I know those schools that they're talking about in Texas have a real hunger and a desire to move up to the FBS level. Tarleton's one of them. If you look at Tarleton's facilities and everything they've built, they are an FBS football program, and their facilities are, well, I'll be honest with you, they're nicer than what we have here right now. So they could easily be an FBS football team. And there's several other there in Texas that I know are wanting to move up. So if the WAC could get that done and move to an FBS level, I think that would be great for college football. It'd be good for us. But again, I want to go with what our administration says, and Mario's committed to us being an FBS program, and that's what we're planning on being.
I think we all look down the road and see maybe this is the solution for a problem that's been lingering for a while. All right, lastly, what's the goal of this spring season, this spring camp? You've got 3 games. Obviously, I think you'd like to win those, but overall, when you look at this and you address your football team, the message is what that we're trying to get out of this?
Yeah, the message is for us right now, this is preparation for the 2021 fall season. So, yeah, we want to go win these games, but it's more important for us to get everybody in these games, to evaluate our talent, to develop ourselves this spring because we've had a year off, to get us ready to be the best possible team we can be when we open up against UTEP in 2021.
Do you know how these records are going to be treated, stats are treated, like in regards to career numbers? Do they go, are these considered exhibition games? Will the win-loss record go on your record? Do you know how any of that's going to be treated?
You know what, Jeff, I really don't. I really haven't kept up with it. I really haven't been anything that was important to us. And to be honest with you, the practices are more important to us than the games at this point. But I really haven't even looked into any of that stuff. I mean, there's nothing that's going to come out of this. Obviously, you're not going to get to a bowl game because you win these 3 games or you don't or whatever. It's just more about getting players experience and getting them prepared.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it until just now. I was just curious. All right, it's good to hear you. Glad that we've gotten to this point. I know you're much happier than we are, but I'm glad that you guys are going to be able to get out on the field, be able to do it in New Mexico, and bump them together a little bit. Best of luck to you, and I know we'll catch up with you soon.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Be well. Doug Martin, the head football coach. There were JJ. There's lots of I just didn't know. And that last question, it just popped into my mind. Like, do these records count? Do the yardage numbers go on a guy's career stats? I honestly don't know the answer.
We'll find out.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to watching them, actually. Like, some football games in February of interests me. And they've almost been out of sight, out of mind, don't you think? I mean, and that's the worst place to be. We just went through a football season.
There's been a lot of things in the state of New Mexico over the last calendar year, and as we approach March with everything that's gone on. But it's just an opportunity to get your football team together. There was a lot of stuff in there, including player turnover. A lot of new players, but did they purge some issues from the program?
Sure sounds that way. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. Glad you're here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Moreno extra pass, and Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it... I mean, Ramos' hand. And Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer! Boy, Jefferson wide open. Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
Far with the ball again. Another steal by Davina Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. Nekwati lob to Agbaiosi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that any better. He answered the question. He
What
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer! Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
Lovato driving. They're going to count it.
Bill O'Brien's got a new job. The former Houston Texans head coach is now the offensive coordinator at Alabama. So Alabama's head coach or offensive coordinator went to be the head coach in Texas, at Texas, the University of. And the Texans' former head coach becomes the offensive coordinator at Alabama. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda, J.J. Buck. Michael produces the radio side. Alden and looks like Josh, I think, over on the TV side. All right, so a lot of stuff in what Doug Martin had to say. J.J., what you took out of it is the purging of the program. He talked about the additions that were made, bringing the right people in. He talked a lot about self-policing. He compared this group to the players he had in 2017 when they won the Arizona Bowl and snapped that 54-year bowlless skid streak, whatever it was, drought, and said we got the wrong people out of the program. And so that's what really jumped out the page to you?
Yeah, player leadership in a year that they've been off the football field for over a year. They haven't hit anybody. They haven't played any games. They haven't had any practices. The player leadership is super important because they're the ones that are going to be communicating with each other more so than anyone else. They're the ones that are going to be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this, or if we do something, let it just be us getting together playing Madden, like just anything like that over this time. And that's super important. And I think it's something that obviously has shown through for Doug Martin during this process, because you need guys committed to be bought in, to just sit back on the sidelines this long looking at everything else, but staying committed to New Mexico State to be able to go through this process and finally get back on the field in the fall for a regular season.
Yeah. To me, when I asked him about was it the right decision, and he said, we'll see. I think so. I don't know where I am on that. Like, honestly, they could have played games. They could have got a game every week. They could have been that team that here we are, we're ready to go play. Now, it would have been tough prep. Could they have won? I don't know. The other team would have been dealing with the same thing. Now, if they were going to play Ohio State or Purdue or every week, that would have been tough. If they'd have played, North Texas or a game against Rice, maybe they would have got one here and there. Where would they have practiced? I think, economically it would have been certainly challenging for them. But we'll see. We're not going to know probably until next October. How they start next year is going to be probably slow, just because, like he said, it's almost like starting a new program, right? I mean, everything's new. They were gone. But I mean, I can't recall, this side of SMU, a program just disappearing for a season and then coming back strong. I think they're trying to do something that, gosh, I don't remember ever seeing before.
Yeah, I think if just in terms of the overall looking at college football, I think as we saw it play out and what some of the things that Doug Martin described is, I don't think it's going to be as dramatic a negative impact as we might have thought initially. Like, oh man, you're off the football field for an entire year, no fall, because you do get the added bonus of the spring practices, which they're starting now. Get a couple games under your belt into your normal summer routine, then into fall. Like, you can't deny that, yeah, there's possibly going to be an impact. When you mentioned, was it 43 scholarship players have not played a Division I football game. So there's definitely going to be a curve in that once you get on the football field in the fall. But as Doug kind of mentioned it, taking a step back, like, there was nothing easy about the fall, even if you did play. So I think it's one that can't ignore it, but I don't think it's going to end up being as bad as you might have thought not playing football.
All right, let's go to the phones. 505-246-0610 is how to get at us today. Lenny, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Excellent.
All right. Well, first I'll go with a few picks for the weekend, and I'm going to go with the Bills with the upset and Tampa with the upset.
Both road teams winning. Wow. Okay.
Well, I think Allen has finally gotten to that point where he thinks he can compete, and they got the weapons in Buffalo and the defense to possibly keep Mahomes in check.
Possible.
On the other side, you still got Brady, and Brady still has the best offense he's ever played with. So you're going to probably see a lot of run to keep Green Bay off the field, and then if his receivers are all healthy, I'm looking for 27-24 win.
Okay.
That'll be a little bit more low scoring. But now let's get into the draft. We know that Jacksonville is going to take Trevor Lawrence unless Urban Meyer becomes so enamored with Ohio State alum Justin Fields.
Yeah, I don't see
So
that.
now you're sitting at 2 at the Jets. Do you think it's worth it for the Jets to just trade their picks, a couple of number ones and 2 and a 3, and just go after Deshaun Watson, who you know what you have?
Yes. I do. JJ, do you?
Yeah.
He shook his head yes.
Yeah, because at this point, since they can't find a quarterback, I would go that route. And then they still got $70 million in cap space.
Yeah. All right. I agree with that.
For everything that Deshaun Watson did, for him to throw for 4,800 yards with the receiving core that he had, you have to give him major credit for that.
No doubt. That's
Especially
why
when you lose DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, and that's why he's getting all the love. That's why, I mean, with everything he did and yes, he's getting credit for that.
Okay, and then one last thing. I know you probably didn't watch the Knicks Golden State, but you have to
missed
watch
that.
the replay of Draymond Green being thrown out of the game on a second technical for screaming at his own player.
Yeah, I read that. And then the officials admitted, or the NBA admitted, that they got it wrong.
Yeah, he's the youngest official in the NBA, and you're watching the replay of it, and that's all. He's just screaming at Wiseman for location on the court because he's been mentoring him up, the whole season, and it's like, what did he get teed for? I mean, I didn't mind as the Knicks because I knew at that point, they could win, but I just never seen that before.
I think that's a clear case of reputation. JJ, we talk about that all the time. Because of what he's done in the past. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why that happened.
Right. But is that something that the NBA needs to look at and go,
well, sure.
If they're allowing reviewable plays, you have to look at that. You can't just throw the guy out.
Totally agree with
and not
that.
look at it and go, did we mess up?
Yep. Totally agree.
And then in the last tomorrow night, you see Conor McGregor coming back, and I'm going to go for the upset in Poirier taking a 5-round decision.
Yeah, I think I'm there too.
I think he's been away too long with all of his away from the octagon stuff, his whiskey business, but is also his legal troubles. And I think he's looking through Poirier to a bigger prize down the road that may not be there for him.
And it probably isn't going to be. All right. Whiskey Business. Right. That was a good movie. Enjoy the weekend, Lenny. See you.
Thank you. You too.
Remember Whiskey Business? Wasn't that? Oh, wait, that wasn't Whiskey Business? Whiskey Business. Everybody's kind of, the hit pick right now is Buffalo. Everybody's kind of leaning Buffalo.
It's the uncertainty of Pat Mahomes. We think he's hurt more than they're letting on with his injury, smashed face and neck into the ground. Was he concussed? Was he not concussed? He's in the protocol. If he's just going through walkthroughs this week, that's fine. I think he'll be good either way, but we're just not 100% sure on his status. And I think that's why people are leaning towards Buffalo, because Josh Allen has been that dude this season. He is Pat Mahomes light right now. And it's not one where you got to go in there and worry about, we got to run the football, we got to slow down the game. No, you're explosive. And you got a dude that's making plays outside the pocket, making plays downfield, smart with the football, and has an offense to challenge Kansas City.
Yeah, I don't know that with everybody going that way, I think I'm getting pushed the other way.
Happened to me last week. That's why I went with Baltimore.
Boy, I really like Buffalo. I'm on Green Bay. I'm on Green Bay. Solidly on Green Bay. I'll get there. It's the opening drive. Let's hear from you. Buffalo, who's your Super Bowl? And why? You'll hear those games here on the Sports Animal this weekend. I'm glad you're with us this morning. We'll get more into the NFL when we get back. Lobos win yesterday, 67-51. Happy to take your calls on that as well. And United have a format and kind of a date to focus on in regards to the start of the USL season. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Guy goes. Ooh, a little spin and a finish.
Natalia Chavez, good spin. Takes a.
Ramos, nice jump stop to the.
Play with gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a. Hill, little step, high window, and a got the second.
To the middle. Here we go. 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis. He goes in. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup.
Gallegos spins. Window finishes.
There's a run coming from
Lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime.
Call it as Pavi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. All day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wildcats! Not a defender inside. A little bit. Skowski on the sideline! Hasta mañana! He's off to the races! Touchdown! Clovis!
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
Long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught! Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm! Wow. Santa Maria!
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Coverage will start at noon on Sunday. Bears and Packers first, Bills and Chiefs second. Championship games in the NFC and then the AFC. The winners will go to the Super Bowl, and you'll hear that on the Sports Animal as well. I'd offer you a phone line, but they're all full. 505-246-0610. We don't have one for you. Let's hit them and hear what you have to say. Alan, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Alan.
Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Excellent, thank you. How you living?
Good. Thank you. Hey, I really don't have a take or anything. The quarterbacks are all the talk. I'm interested in the lines on these four teams, the offensive, defensive lines, and how they compare. And I'm just going to listen to what you guys have to say. Hopefully you have something for me. Y'all have a great weekend.
Yeah, no, thanks. JJ, in the AFC game, I actually really like what the Bills have done with their offensive line. And they've been able to protect Josh Allen, run the football, but actually both those lines are good. In the NFC game, again, I don't know. There's a big difference if we're talking offensive line. If we're talking offensive, I don't know if he was going offensive and defense. Actually, I think all four of these offensive lines have done a pretty good job, and that's probably why they're there.
I don't think anyone's going to be able to run the football in Kansas City or Buffalo. If you look at really what Buffalo has done this postseason, the run game's been zero, pretty much. But so I'm really looking at the line play in Green Bay and Tampa. And I think Tampa Bay has a front seven Shaq Barrett coming off the edge that can definitely put some pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And I think when you look at the regular season game, you can't focus on that. Like, it was so long ago that it's going to play out differently. So I think the line play is going to have a much bigger impact in the NFC Championship game, to whereas it's going to be Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes dropping back, throwing. And the question is, do you bring pressure against these guys? Because they shred pressure. And you just try to play coverage and hope you get there with your front four, because I think it's about even if you want to look at defensive line play for the Bills and Chiefs. So I think that the bigger advantage we'll see will be the defensive play in that NFC Championship game, because I think they can find a way to bring more pressure.
All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Did I just see, and I'm looking for confirmation on that. I'll get you this news as soon as I get it confirmed. Ray, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Ray.
How's it going, guys?
Good. How you doing?
Hey, I'm taking the Bills and the Packers in the Super Bowl. Kansas City, it's going to go to the defense like you guys were talking about. Kansas City has 3 DBs that are hurt. Breland's their best one to guard Diggs, and he didn't even practice yesterday of concussion and a bad shoulder. And the other 2 DBs, both knees, and they didn't practice. So I think that's where it's going to hurt Kansas City, is on the back end. And I was listening to that Doug Martin thing, and you guys asked him. He said that you don't have a problem with strength and conditioning because they've been doing it all year. Have they been doing it out of the state or what? Because I know the Lobos couldn't lift weights or do strength or conditioning. And he said they've been doing it all year. So
yeah, Ray, they've been allowed to do it in groups of 5 or less. So one coach with four players. So that's how everybody's been able to do that. That's why the Lobos couldn't practice football. That's why they couldn't go 5-on-5 in basketball. So that's been something that's been permissible. Fred, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Fred.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, Fred. How you doing?
I wanted to talk about the Lobo men and the Lobo women, and I know you brought this up at the very start. I think this morning about we better be careful of San Jose State. So I kind of, you didn't go back to what I did. I went back to exactly how bad Boise beat San Jose State, and I know you said it was bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. But Boise beat San Jose State 106-54, and they shot 23% field goals and 11.5 threes. They came back the next game. They that 87-86 win by Boise, they shot San Jose State shot 50.9 field goal percentage, but they shot 51.9 on threes. They made 14 of 27.
How much of that was Richard Washington? How much of that was Richard Washington? It sounds like you got the box score right in front of you.
Yeah, I don't in front of me, but what's funny is he did score 23 points in the one game, and then he only scored 9 in the loss. So that kind of gives you an idea, though, what they can do. I mean, you got they had another guy. It was Dale Court, and I think he scored 10 yesterday for us. So anyway, he scored 23. But I just wanted to show the difference of that. And then also, I wanted to real quickly talk about like Colorado State, Utah State was the same way. And you had said a little bit about this too, but Colorado State won 84-76 last night. Well, the Utah State beat Colorado State 83-64. Yep. It's just crazy how the difference of the scores, because they're playing still at Utah State, but isn't it strange that works that way? And then another thing was kind of strange I saw on my phone is, Boise State plays Colorado State tonight. And I thought, God, that's weird.
That can't
Colorado
be right.
State just played last night, and I thought that
can't
was
be right.
sort of strange. But anyway, hey, and then I want to talk real quick, the women. Sorry about that, my dogs. But anyway, the women, they play Fresno next weekend, and Fresno beat a really, really good Boise State team. They beat them 92-57 last night. And you know how Boise gives us fifth, and Fresno, of course, won the conference last year. But that's going to be a heck of a game because the Cavendish sisters, they're really tough. They scored 19 and 15 last night, and so that's
Fred,
going to be a heck of a game.
I'm going to correct you on something.
Guys?
I'm going to correct you on something. Boise State plays Fresno State tonight in men's basketball.
Oh, it is, huh?
Yeah, Boise State. There's no way Colorado State's playing Boise State tonight after being in Logan last night.
Oh, okay.
They play Fresno State tonight.
I thought that was strange. That was on my phone. Yeah, I thought that was kind of strange. Yeah.
Yep. If you get that new phone like Jerry Palm got, it won't give you bad info.
Yeah, that's true. Hey,
all right.
Anyway, I just wanted to say that Lobos got a big task ahead of them with Fresno State next week, and I just wish I knew where we're going to play. I guess right now we don't know because we're supposed
Fresno.
to play them at home.
You're playing Fresno.
And I'm just wondering, where they're going to play at. So.
All right.
Anyway, that's all, guys.
Thanks, Fred.
I just want to talk about two things.
Yeah. No.
Bye.
First of all, the games for Fresno State, New Mexico are scheduled to be road games for New Mexico. So you're going to play in Fresno next week. Those are scheduled to be road games. JJ, it is somewhat amazing that you can lose by 52 one night and come back and play the same team the next night and have a shot at the buzzer to win the game. And that's San Jose State, Boise State.
By the way, the women are playing in Canyon, Texas next week.
That's where the women are? Okay, that came down. All right. All right, 505-246-0610. We'll get back to it. There's a couple lines for you to get in if you'd like to. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, and Micah, along with Alden and I believe Josh on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
If you're hiring, you need Indeed.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide coaches award program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a three for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, twine!
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time to Ed Hammer. see. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess. He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve. Played over to Madrid, plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot up by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With his first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it. They're really Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District matchup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh! Big Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win. And he got it! It's good.
Oh my God!
On the last second shot.
He did.
Oh my God! Bakes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy. It's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
This is all over the social media. Man, oh man, this is brutal. Hank Aaron passed away, 86 years old. I mean, we were just talking in the break about the baseball greats. Joe Morgan, Tom Seaver, Whitey Ford, Don Sutton, Hank Aaron, Tommy Lasorda, Lou Brock. What on earth? 86. A lot of people still consider him, JJ, the home run king.
Hammerin' Hank. It's a legendary figure that changed the game in so many ways, and what he and so many endured on their journey to still the issues that he faced once he broke the home run record. Just a legend in the game, and what a baseball team God is assembling, because they are going to be dominant.
Unbeatable. Never lost. All right, Edward, good morning. Thank you for holding. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir.
Good day to you, gentlemen. Well, what a travesty, what a tragedy that Hammerin' Hank Aaron passed away. Just an amazing man of character, and to hit those home runs at 5'11" and whatever he weighed back in the day, just to be able to just hammer him year after year, and the social pressure that he endured. There's stories about what he and Roger Maris, what he went through when he was going to break the single season record. Harassment. Just imagine if it was in the social media era when those guys played. That's crazy. Speaking of social media, give yourself 2 minutes and listen to Dan Campbell's introductory press conference as he took the Lions job. They're going to be biting kneecaps and fighting and punching groins and whatever it takes for the Lions to be tough. Uniquely qualified for that job. Just do yourself a favor and listen to that press conference. If there was ever an indictment on somebody who's uniquely unqualified, there you have it. But I hope he does well. I'm rooting for him and his family.
Are you?
I think there's I think there's a formula.
You're the worst person for this job, but I wish you well. And hope
good luck to you.
That's right. I root for humanity, my friends. You know what? Credit to him. There's only 32 of those jobs, and he finagled his way and influenced somebody. I can't imagine somebody sitting in an interview room listening to that rhetoric and saying, there's our guy. That is simply awesome. But it happens more often than you think. How about the New York Mets general manager? Same concept. I think there's a formula, even though Kansas City's only really lost one game in their last 24 or 25 games with Mahomes as a starter. And the only team that kind of solved that riddle was the Raiders. I think in an average NFL game, you get 10 to 12 possessions. To beat the Chiefs on any given day with nothing weird happening, you're going to have to score on probably half of those possessions, and 4 of those are going to have to be touchdowns. You kick field goals, you're going to get beat. And then you got to hope that they turn the ball over once, maybe even twice, and come up miraculously with a couple of stops, because Kansas City's in the scoring zone. The minute they get the ball, they're in the red zone. So I think the Bills have a chance. I don't know if I'm going to predict the upset. I'm kind of like with you, Jeff. I'd love to see it, but I think the Chiefs are going to prevail at home. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think the dream ends this weekend. I don't know if they're going to be able to go up there and beat Green Bay. One thing I'll say, there's a Madden curse, and then there's an NFL MVP curse. Rodgers is going to win the NFL MVP. The last NFL MVP quarterback to win the Super Bowl, I believe, was Kurt Warner in 1999. Every year that the NFL quarterback wins the MVP, they haven't won the Super Bowl in well over 2 decades. So I'm hoping that holds true and it comes to fruition. But will Brady be able to pull off magic? I think he may. I'm kind of hoping for it. But I think it's going to be a close game into the fourth quarter, and Green Bay is going to pull away. Again, I'm not using reverse psychology, but I'd love to see a Bills Tampa Bay Super Bowl, but I think we're going to see the opposite, and I think Green Bay is going to prevail. I hope you guys enjoy the weekend and enjoy the festivities of football. I think we're in for 2 great games, and I think we've been treated to a phenomenal season. And it's good to hear Doug Martin. What a challenging position he's in, and for him to endure and just keep pushing forward. Credit to that. Maybe he should apply for the Detroit Lions job.
There you go. Let's bite him in the groin. Or wait, kick him in the groin. Bite the legs.
Bite him in the knees. Kick him in the groin. Bite him in the knees. That's what we're going to be doing, guys.
That's right.
Hey,
all right, man.
Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weekend, guys. Hey, take care.
See you. 505-246-0610 is where he got in. Here, he's highly unqualified. I mean, how did he get that? But I wish him well. No, you don't.
I'm now a Dan Campbell fan, just because.
Just because. All right, I got a bunch of emails. Hank Aaron died, man. Like some of the best ever And Hank Aaron's there, Joe Morgan's there, Tom Seaver's there. Holy smokes. That one caught me off guard a little bit. Hammer and Hank. All right, your thoughts, and go wherever you want. From Hank Aaron to the Lobos win to the NFL this weekend to Dwayne Haskins getting signed yesterday. Boy, we haven't got there yet. Is he the quarterback of the future for that club? It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Mike, Josh, Alden on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Let's see if Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy. And it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay,
I got you.
Measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
He'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up and wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Jimmy Gaye. Chavez dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And off, great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
All right, so this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth, all right, and when you punch.
You're going to play that? You want me to play it?
How quiet it was.
All right. That was almost Dan Campbell.
Maybe like his tenure in Detroit. Won't work out.
Dang it. I had it all queued up, too. You actually got to hear it. Because, Dan, to read it doesn't do anybody any good. We're going to kick you in the teeth and kick you in the groin and all that stuff. We'll get it for you. We'll get it for you. What's up? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Sorry, man. I didn't think I'd have to hold my phone up to a microphone. Micah said he had it all fired up and ready to go. We'll get it for you.
All right, we'll bite you next time.
We'll bite your kneecaps. All right, we got a ton going on. But if you're just joining us, Hank Aaron passed away this morning, 86 years old. Hank Aaron, Hammerin' Hank, the all-time home run king until Barry Bonds got him. It's just the latest in a line of greats. Joe Morgan and Tom Seaver and Don Sutton and Whitey Ford and Tommy Lasorda and Lou Brock, and just off the top of my head. It's really kind of insane. So you can get there. It's the time to call your winner in the NFC and AFC championship games this weekend. Who's going to the Super Bowl? You got to listen to Doug Martin this morning, if you were with us, the New Mexico State football coach, as they get set to open practice. JJ, the Doug Martin conversation is still kind of just it's so eerie to me right now, because here we are, Super Bowl down 2 weeks away, and they're starting up football. Like it's just so novel and so bizarre. But here's where they are, and they're going to go tackle it.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Well, let's get back to it when you have the opportunity. 3 exhibition games plus 29 practices to get your football team back on the field. And it sounds like they're in a good place, at least mentally, getting through everything, excited to be back to this point. And it's the unknown of what is the effect going to be once we get to the fall. I think it was easy to just say, oh, this is going to be really bad for New Mexico State. I think it's going to definitely be a struggle, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as we anticipated coming off a year of not playing football, just given the fact that they get a little bit extra run this spring. And it sounds like, at least from what Doug Martin is saying right now, is the players have really stepped up, and he's got some guys committed that I think is going to go a long way to at least bring in, the focus, the energy, the effort you need to try to compete.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to it. 505-246-0610. Bruin James, you're up on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good morning, James.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. Hey, yesterday I was watching ESPN, and the one columnist from Kornheiser, he was talking smack about my Pac-10, my Pac-12. But let me tell you something, man. The Pac-12 is the Conference of Champions. We have more national championships in the Pac-12 than any other conference. We have more gold medals than any other country. So, I mean, you talk smack, and then on top of that, my Bruins, the ladies and men's, hey, they're kicking butt, man. So, all good. Go Pac-12, go Bruins. Talk to you guys later.
It's the Conference of Champions. I love my bike. Beautiful campus in Westwood, and Coach Wooden took me under his belt. Look, I'm a Pac-12 guy, too. I love the Pac-12. Pac-12's down. Football, basketball, they've been down. When was the last time the Pac-12 won something in those two sports? Now, they win a lot of water polo championships. They do. A ton of volleyball championships. They do. I'm pretty sure they're exclusively winning the surfing championships. Yeah. But what have they done in football and basketball? And that's really what it is. I love me some Pac-12. Larry Scott is out as the Pac-12 commissioner come summer. There's some candidates. JJ, you and I both agree, I think, Pac-12 has got so much potential to explode. I firmly believe the Pac-12 has beat up on each other, and that's why you haven't had as many teams in the CFP. Now, when they've gotten there, they haven't performed. And so they have been behind. I think there's so much talent, so much population out west, so much money and good resources out west that Pac-12 institutions are going to be fine. And I've been asked a bunch, why do you think the Pac-12 has been down in football the last decade and a half? And I just don't have the answer. Maybe some of the best players are going to Alabama. Maybe some West Coast guys, Tua Tagovailoa is from Hawaii and going. But I just don't know that I think that's it. You've got a the young the lineman from Orange County, Brown, who's at Alabama. But I don't know that I think all the talent's is leaving there. There's plenty of talent there that they should win.
Like 20, 25 dudes that can sign each year to go to Alabama, and you look at the population base and just talent available from the state of California. There's definitely an element of they've beat each other up because there hasn't been a great team that's been able to rise above. We saw it again this year. I know you don't want to overanalyze this season, but it's one where the good is just not great in the Pac-12, and that is why you see 1-2 loss teams year in and year out lately. It is ready to explode, and I think the thing with the Pac-12 is the markets, the talent available. Yeah, the history is nice, but it's what have you done for me lately? And the next step for the Pac-12 too is just becoming available. Like, it's in 2021, we should not be at the point where an entire conference has a network like half the country can't watch. Like, that's going to get you nowhere.
The fact that it's been this many years that they've been on the air, and that they're not on DirecTV, that they're on. I think they're on Dish. Do you get them on Comcast? Whoever's got I don't know how to get them. That it isn't accessible to everybody, I think is a big issue. Like, good for them, by the way, to go and get their networks started. But SEC, ACC, Big Ten networks are available everywhere. Everywhere. Now, is that because ESPN runs the SEC network and the ACC network? Oh, that's a big part of it. They want to do their own thing. Okay. But when you get to the point where you're so innovative that nobody knows about it, like, honestly, I know nothing about the Pac-12 networks. I would actually like to watch the Pac-12 network. The few times I've watched it, I've enjoyed it. But to your point, that's right. The time thing, they tried playing early games. Bottom line is just get a national champion. And I know that sounds so easy, but in basketball and football, where have they been? And that's really what it comes down to. Their brands, Oregon, UCLA in basketball, USC in football, their brands have just fallen off a bit, and they've got to get them back up.
Their brand is Bill Walton telling you how good they were 50 years ago.
Which is a great freaking brand, by the way. It's a great brand. Tell me you don't love you some Bill Walton.
I do, but that only will get you so far.
Yeah, I imagine. But that's right. And so, to Brewer and James's point, yes, they are the Conference of Champions. They are. They are. Look, they have more champions than anybody else. They are. But in the last few years, they have fallen. So if you don't like Kornheiser telling you that, I'm sorry that he's telling you the truth, James. Unfortunately, bottom line is that was the truth. 505-246-0610. I got some NFL stuff for you. Former Washington quarterback Dwayne Haskins has a new home. I'll let you know that. And a little history, more history being made by the Washington football team. Get into that. Want your picks on who's going to the Super Bowl. You're down to 4 teams. And what you saw of the Lobos last night, or yesterday afternoon, 67-51 in their victory over San Jose State. Security for your home or your business is like insurance. You know you need it. Maybe you don't want to pay for it. Then a bad guy breaks in and you realize, dang it, you should have been prepared. Call Aaron Jones. Call International Protective Service. Aaron owns IPS. That is a security company I trust to watch my home. I've trusted him for years. He's got armed, trained security officers that keep the bad guys away from your home and your business. Last year was a nightmare. Make sure this year isn't. Protect what's important to you. Let IPS protect your home, your business with on-site guards, 24-hour patrols. They'll stop crime before it happens to you. If someone does break in, your alarm goes off, they will be there within 5 to 7 minutes. With armed, trained officers, they give you peace of mind and keep the bad guys away. 505-897-2420 is the number. Area code 505-897-2420. Or visit them at ipsglobal.com.
The NFL playoffs are...
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Ramos wants another.
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores.
Cut into it. Had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer for Murillo.
Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on and goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's going to go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos, got it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Get it stripped. Calion stripped him. Come Highland the other way. Win up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it.
What a great game plan. Look at this.
Agbayosi throws it down.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
There's the long three.
Boom.
Bang.
All right, and so this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth, all right, and when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you, and when you knock us down, we're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right, and we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right, and on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down, and when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing, all right, that's going to be the mentality, all right, and we're going to learn that any loss that we take, we're going to make sure we feel the full pain of it and not go numb to it and learn.
Dan Campbell, your new Lions coach. Detroit fans, you must be so proud. What the hell is he saying? We're going to be dirty. We're going to be filthy. We're going to bite your kneecaps and kick you in the groin. And what? Are there rules against that stuff, by the way?
Bath salts.
I think there's rules against all that, isn't there? That's you must be so proud. That's Dan Campbell, the new coach.
You know, we people eat that stuff up though. Like rub some dirt on it. That's what it's all about. Yeah, that's a real football guy right there.
Who's eating up? We're gonna kick you in the kneecaps or bite you in the kneecaps and kick you in the groin. Who's eating that up?
The 3 yards in a cloud of dust people?
You know what? It's one thing to say, you know what? If you knock me down, I'm going to come up and I'm going to punch you in the face. Or you hit me.
You tried to play football without a kneecap?
No, I never have. Honestly, I never have. No, tell me how hard.
I wouldn't suggest it.
How tough is it? You tell me. No.
This is lateral movement.
Tommy alone.
I just. What are we doing?
Football guy says football things.
So is that just football guy just running diarrhea of the mouth, or is that something he rehearsed? Like, do you think he just got up there and somebody said, "Coach, what kind of team are you going to be? We're going to be the kind of team that you push us down. We're gonna kick you in the groin and bite your kneecaps, and then it's going to take 2 times to knock me down, and then we're going to kick you in the other kneecap and kick you in the groin again, and then it's going to take 3 times to knock us down." What?
It feels like the kneecaps might have been ad-lib, but he's 100% all about the
groin.
I don't know about the groin, but the knock us down, we'll get up, knock us down twice, we'll get up again cliche. And he's like, you know what? Let me add some spice to this. Let's talk about biting your kneecap off.
All right, fine. I don't find that to be truth, but I get truth from Tommy. Hello, Tommy. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. What's good?
Hey, man, this dude, Tommy the Truth back at you. Is this dude a football coach or cook or zombie, or what is he? Talking about biting kneecaps or ripping them off? What's up with this guy?
Yes. All of the above. I just don't get it. And somehow you're going to go, oh, yeah, Coach said we're going to kick him in the kneecap. And then you're going to have a dude who's going to get suspended for kicking a dude in the groin and biting a kneecap. Well, Coach told me to do it.
Well, didn't he say similar stuff when he was in, I think it was Miami? He was kind of had a clip when he was talking like that too, or?
I don't know.
Miami Dolphins.
I'm sure he did.
Sounds weird to me. I mean, it's great. I guess that team, considering their history, needs whatever it takes to get them hyped up to play football. Then I guess he's trying something pretty crazy, but it just sounds a little bit like, I'm always like, talk later. Win first to talk later. That's great to talk.
Such a good idea.
Then you got to walk the walk.
Such a good idea. Yes, talk later. Yes, put that in a Hamilton song. All right, man. Enjoy the weekend.
See you guys. You too. Bye.
Later.
Well, he didn't really overpromise anything other than biting your kneecap off. He didn't say
you in the groin.
He didn't go, not 1, not 4, not 18. He said, bite your kneecap off.
I'll give you that.
It might be a difficult task to bite someone's kneecap off, but they're going to give it a go.
He's going to have a dude get thrown out of a game or get benched for not kicking another guy in the groin. He knocked you down. I told you to kick him in the groin and bite his kneecap.
Special guest at training camp, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that's ear. Totally different body part. I'm just saying. All right, you're in on Level Basketball, too. The news this morning, if you haven't heard, Hank Aaron died, 86 years old, which is just crazy. I guess I should tell you this, too, because I've been teasing this. Dwayne Haskins signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think I care, other than it was Dwayne Haskins, who was a first-round pick, and they've got an aging quarterback who may not be back. Like I think I care only because they can't be thinking he's the answer, right? He's the future.
He's QB3 on that roster, right? And like Dwayne Haskins is not even better than Mason Rudolph at this point in time. But it made sense of someone like Dwayne Haskins, if you believe there's talent there, if you're a front office, you know what, we think this guy is talented, that this would be the situation to bring him into. It's an established team. There is zero expectations for Dwayne Haskins to do anything. I think what it does show is that at least they believe that Ben Roethlisberger is going to be back one more season. And so you can just kind of have him out there, practice squad, QB3, developing. Maybe you have something. But I'm right there with you. It's one that, Dwayne Haskins signed, that's cool. It means absolutely nada when it comes to football next season.
All right, then I don't care anymore. But his former team, tell me how significant you think this is. I think it's fairly significant, more than Dwayne Haskins signing with the Steelers. The Washington football team promoted a young lady named Jennifer King to full-time offensive assistant coach. That makes her the first black woman to be a full-time coach in the National Football League. I think the bigger barrier, and you may argue with me, I think both of these barriers are significant. The bigger barrier to me is that it's a woman who is, now I know it's not the first. I understand that. She's the first black woman. The Niners had a full-time assistant, I think the Cardinals did. But the fact that women are becoming full-time coaches in the National Football League is quite significant, I think, that A, head coaches are trusting them, and B, obviously players are listening to them. And I think it wasn't long ago there was no way a football player, and certainly Dan Campbell, who's going to get up and bite your kneecap and kick you in the groin, would have listened to a woman football coach.
And a lot of it, too, is the challenges when you get to the pro level of trying to instruct the guys that might be the best at their craft, and they look at you with a sense of, what have you ever done?
That's right.
Like, male or female. Like, because there's a lot of coaches in the NFL that never played at the NFL level, but they're good coaches, and they understand the game, and they're able to motivate and put people in positions. And that's what I look at with a situation like this. Do you understand the game? Do you know what you're talking about, how to motivate people, how to instruct people? Then it shouldn't matter. If you're good at what you do it. And this is a situation where you don't see someone promoted on the staff just because. Like, they wouldn't just be doing this to do it in the NFL when they know every single week your job is on the line.
She collegiately played basketball and softball at Guilford College, and she's worked her way up. Best of luck to her. Like, honestly, best of luck to her. I don't think you're going to see this big infiltration, tons of women coaches. I don't know that there's a large pool, to be honest with you, of women who want to coach. We saw earlier this week the Miami Marlins named a woman as their general manager, right? In Major League Baseball. Now, when you're the pioneer, there's an incredible burden on these women. When you're pioneers, you have to be good. There's I don't want to say an obligation, but certainly a pressure to be good because people will be looking at you. And if you don't succeed, well, see, that's why there were no women there. And they'll look at all these other idiot guys who didn't succeed, and, well, yeah, but that they're made for that, right? There is a pressure, an inherent pressure on being one of the first women in these positions. Do you agree?
Oh, no question. And people are always going to look for a reason why you won't succeed, why you're going to be a failure, and hold it over your head in all these situations, from player to coach to front office. But if you're good at your job, then it shouldn't matter what level you've risen to. If it just happens to be part of your resume, fantastic. But how many times, we see great players don't translate to great anything else.
Yeah.
Because you're a great player doesn't mean you're a good coach or a good person in the front office. Like, there's just so many different tasks associated with all these jobs, and across the board, whatever it may be. We're talking professional sports, collegiate athletics. If you earn an opportunity, it's because you have the skills for that specific position.
I'm looking through the NFL right now. Who's the best, the head coach who was the best player, best current head coach who was the best player? Is it Frank Reich? Like, am I missing? Ron Rivera, probably. Ron Rivera?
I would say maybe Ron Rivera for sure. Mike Vrabel.
Vrabel was good, yeah. Yeah, and so it's your point is real. I was just trying to go to your point.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a great player to be a great head coach. I mean, who's the best NBA player? Like the best coach right now in the NBA. Who was the best player?
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash. All right. Doc Rivers was
He's
good.
coached for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you want. I think it's important
Steve
to have.
Kerr's got a lot of rings. Steve Kerr's got more
Steve
rings.
Kerr's got the rings. Yeah. I think it's important with whatever you do, though, you have diversity in experience and not just people as well. It's to come at it in a bunch of different directions. Like, it's good to have people that have been there, done that know what's going on. And it's also good to maybe have people that can bring you a different perspective where you don't just get caught up in your world and you can get lost in things. I think that's important for everybody in every aspect of our lives.
Yeah. I think all of that's right. It's interesting. And it kind of brings up the story from early in the week where Jared Porter, the now former general manager of the New York Mets, was fired because of the way he treated a woman reporter back in 2016. And he should have been. But that's rampant in that business. You and I were reading the tales of a female reporter we both know who has gone through it, which is no surprise. I think every woman we know in this business has been through that, and it's not right. It's at some point you got to get accepted, and the early female sports journalists I give a lot of credit to, because they broke barriers, and now it's commonplace to see female sports reporters, writers, television reporters, radio hosts, whatever, and they can know their stuff just as much as you and I did. I didn't play at the NFL level or the NBA level, nor did you. I think we know our stuff. I think we've got a perspective that's pretty good. Do we, does it added, like when you bring in a Ned James who's been there at the NFL level, yeah, it brings a lot of perspective, but that doesn't make him a better broadcaster than you or me. Now, that doesn't mean he can't be, right? When you bring in Hunter Green, what he brings to a broadcast from his knowledge is great, but that doesn't make Robert Portnoy any less the broadcaster. And to your point of looking at people and backgrounds, like you can get somewhere a whole lot of ways. You can get somewhere a whole lot of ways. Right? Donald Trump and Joe Biden took different paths to the presidency, but they both were presidents, right? You can get somewhere. There's not one way to get somewhere. And I commend these pioneers, and I commend these organizations who are willing to make these hires. And now, I feel I'm happy for these people, these women who got these jobs, but I do feel the pressure for them to succeed, because all the naysayers.
It's when you're the first at something, or when people don't think you can do it or are qualified for a specific position, you're going to be overanalyzed, and every misstep is going to be magnified, and it's going to be the CCC, I told you so.
Yeah. I'll give you a much smaller scale, and it's only the scale that, when you do a personal experience. And please don't think I'm comparing myself to a pioneer like this, because I'm not. But when I got out of TV, you get pigeonholed, right? You get pigeonholed into whatever it is you are. And when I was at Channel 7, I was just a sports guy. That's all you can do. And I always wanted to do more. And I anchored news at Channel 13 for a while, and I think, we did a good job. The numbers bared it out. But when I got out completely and we started running a bowl game, people looked at me like, what do you know about this? How, you can't do this. And I really tried to explain, and off of the experiences, the difference between JJ and you, and I've talked about this a lot. Can you do it, and have you done it? It doesn't matter if I've done it before. I believed, and the people who hired me believed I could do it. And that's the same thing that's going on with these coaches. Just because we haven't seen a woman coach before, or you haven't seen a woman general manager, doesn't mean they can't do it. And there's nothing like going out and being able to prove people wrong, and who tell you can't do it, and it's not going to survive, and you're not going to succeed. And that's why I really root for some of these pioneers, JJ. Please, I'm not putting myself in that position necessarily, but I have been in the spot where people told me, oh, you can't do this. You're not qualified for this. You haven't done it before. Well, just because you haven't done it doesn't mean you can't do it. And I know you and I have had that conversation on a number of planes before. All right, 505-246-0610. I got a ton of emails. You wrote them. I want to get them to you before we get out of here today. Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. It is the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The Sports.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass. Wrap around pass.
Harris, Legate, the long bomb, 3 ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
The whole little jump step in the...
And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits.
Jackson loses it. Jalen Bond back, alley-oop, put it down. Dunkalicious, how about it?
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
See, I was already bouncing. I knew it was coming. Because I knew Hoser wasn't calling today to bail you out.
Give me a hoe if you got your funky bus fare.
So you know you can back away from the microphone when you hoe, right? You like you can like take a little back away, move it away from your mouth. I mean that's cool. However you want to do it. Well, it's good hoe, man. Ready for a big weekend? Like in 2 weekends from now, do we Super Bowl hoe? Oh. Ooh. So I'm just saying. Just trying to get you there. Opening drive, we hoe on Fridays. Because what's a Friday without a hoe? Remember when JJ's wife came in the room and caught him doing the hoe?
He looked so embarrassed.
He was so embarrassed. Nothing like the wife coming in and catching you doing the hoe.
Nothing in here, honey. Nothing in here.
Nothing to see here.
Just doing a little hoe on the Friday.
That's right. Who doesn't? Just who doesn't? All right, I got emails. Jeff at 610knbl.com. JJ at 610knbl.com. Bruce says, JJ, local basketball equal the local news stations, ? Jeff, the local stations have lost a lot of reporterettes and anchorettes and weatherettes talents over the last couple of years, and I'm not just talking about Hottie Hot Sauce, and they've had trouble replacing. I see the same thing with local basketball. First there was the group with EB and Tim Williams, then Lyle and Vance Jackson. I don't see anybody on the current club that can match those. Who do you see that makes you think, boy, we're going to be watching that guy playing on Sundays in a few years? It's from Bruce. See anybody that says you think you're going to see him playing on Sundays?
There hasn't been a player on this program I've thought was going to be playing the NBA since Tony Snell and Kirk and Greenwood in that group.
And you didn't think Bairstow, huh? And he was kind of a surprise. Huh. All right. Fair enough. And by the way, I mean, how do you replace Hottie Hot Sauce? Just saying. Glenn says, boy, I could not disagree more, Jeff. If Washington is hurt, this is Richard Washington, San Jose State, and doesn't play, the Spartans might as well not make the return trip to St. George. It's from Glenn. All right. I would agree that if they're going to make that big turnaround, they need their best player. Like that was what their turnaround was. When San Jose State lost by 52-54 to Boise State and came back 2 days later and damn near beat them and lost by 1 and had a last-second chance, it was because they had their best player.
Yes, it's going to be a struggle for San Jose State without Richard Washington. But I think percentages, they can be funny. In the game of basketball, they'll probably hit a few early to where like, oh, okay, maybe this is the game 2 turnaround, but I just still think that at least the effort, how hard the Lobos are playing defensively will control that game tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. John says on the Lobos, well, guys, a win is a win. It's always good to be on the winning side. 2-8 teams, 2-0-8. Gosh, it's hard to read. He uses N instead of and it's like written. Anyway, 0-8 teams certainly wasn't pretty with horribly clanked threes and an air ball, but the Lobos certainly were the better team yesterday. Both teams resembled an intramural scrimmage with sloppy, lazy passes, and as Trujillo from the sports bar said, they suck more than we do. Wow. Hopefully with some home cooking and better practices in their own place, we can see a few more wins. But sorry, I just don't see much in this group the rest of the year. As always, maybe next year. Did Trujillo say that? They suck more than we do. It's good I don't know what to tell you. All right? What's your analysis of the game today? Well, they suck more than we do. All right. Lobo Hobo said over and under. Remember earlier I asked what the over-under was? I said it had to be over 116. He said, ask and you shall instantly receive. Jeffy, it was 146. And Lobos were favored by 8. So the under always seems to be the bet with this team. 7-footer on the Lobos roster. JJ, what happened to Nasane? How do you say it? Adie? What happened to the guy that they had? I said it totally wrong. Say it. Is it Njai? How do you say it?
I would think that is good. Njai. Not available.
Okay.
He's
not
still
available.
Lobo, but they haven't really said much more than that.
Not available. I'm down. Gopher, the good news, Jeff, is that with the earlier kickoff time for Lobo basketball tomorrow, we should be able to pretty much take a full trip down Jeffrey Candelaria's show. What time they tip off? Is it noon? Over on News Radio KKB tomorrow, right? 1 o'clock? Okay, 1 o'clock. I heard Paul say noon during his press conference. So that's why I thought that. All right, Terry. We had somebody say the Lobo team is like a 14-year-old girl. He said Lobo fans are like a 14-year-old boy. He said, Jeff, Lobo fans remind me of a 14-year-old boy who thinks he could go to the prom. He would have a chance to get the head cheerleader to go with him. Poll taken, 27% of college coaches want conference tournament games canceled. The virus still affecting games. Villanova ranked number 3, went over 3 weeks without playing a game. R.I.P. Hammer and Hank Aaron, the true home run champion. Enjoy your weekend, from Terry. 27% is a good, sizable number. My math is correctly. That means 73% still want. There's been a swell on the Leon Rice thing. Nationwide a little bit. There's been talk about getting rid of conference tournaments. JJ, I don't know how they're going to walk away from these on a mass level. I understand the push, and I actually even understand the reasoning. And nobody wants to talk about the finances. Well, it's not about it can't be about finance, but nobody wants to take a pay cut either. No, everybody wants to be able to pay for the scholarships. All these coaches want their salaries, and that's where a lot of this money comes from. And as dirty as it sounds to people and as uncomfortable as it is, they do go hand in hand. Now, I will agree with you that the health of the student athlete should come first. But all the conversation I've heard that just poo-poos it, well, it can't be about money. It can't not. I'm not telling you it can't be primarily first and foremost about money. I agree with that. It's got to be about the health. But all the people who are poo-pooing it don't make the money in it. And nobody that I've heard says, you know what, cut my pay X percent, and this is what pays the student athlete scholarships, all those things. I'm not telling you it should be the deciding factor, but for all the people who are saying you just got to take it out of the equation, I think that's an ignorant take. You're on mute.
It's a reality of it. It's why it gets so difficult at times to balance that line in collegiate athletics between, you know, amateurism and, well, the real cost of college athletics, because that it's blurred unlike it's ever been before with what we've seen. The level it's risen to with television contracts, coaching salaries. You need money to pay said scholarships for student athletes, so it has to be part of the conversation. And to acknowledge it doesn't, you know, take away from the collegiate experience. It just shows where it has grown to and how big it is. Now, to put some context to the numbers, Terry, you know, I saw that same story. It was on CBS Sports. They surveyed 41 basketball coaches.
Okay.
And so it's 27% of 41 were not on board with conference tournaments this season. And I think ultimately, even with Leon Rice and all the stuff he said, the Boise State head coach, this is more about just in the moment as opposed to a dramatic shift overall when it comes to conference tournaments.
No, I think that's absolutely right. We're talking about this here. And look, I get it. I hear it. I understand it. I just, and I'm not telling you make a decision one way or the other. I'm just, it's not about finances thing, but when these guys are, you know, Leon Rice is making $1 million or whatever he's making, or I don't see him saying, don't pay my salary. I don't see him saying, you know, let the kids go do a car wash to go make their scholarship money. And I just think it's all got to be taken into consideration. Got a Hall of Fame email or a Hall of Famer email when we come back on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal. Let me tell you about
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled. You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the. Behind the back of the dribble. Trying to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hotnet sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. BC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh. Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Bars Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam on home.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, it's got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat.
And having an opportunity to pursue your dreams. And obviously, yes, I do want to be a head coach. But when it's all said and done with, my job is to make sure everything that we're doing right now is not to take away from the goals that we're trying to accomplish.
Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, when asked about all the head coaching vacancies being filled, and he's not filling them. Now, he is still coaching. He cannot be hired until his season is over. So is that preventing him? And certainly a lot of talk about the diversity and the hires that have been made or lack thereof. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, Josh, glad you're with us today. You can still get in at 505-246-0610. I got this email from Grady at jeff@610knml.com. It says, my slightly trained eye, Bernie meme judges of the OD and the AM, great interview with Coach Martin. I'm in the camp that thinks that them missing the last season was not all that bad. They do not have to get their heads bashed in every week, followed up with call for them to drop down to FCS or fire Coach Martin, etc. They're still in the same position they were before the past season, no conference membership, being in a rebuilding mode, etc. I'm a firm believer in addition by subtraction. And it sounds like they have a core group who's bought in and wants to be there. The strength and conditioning piece can't be overstated. Even in groups of 5, they were able to get faster and stronger without having to worry about having to constantly recover from injuries. I hope, like a lot of other folks here, I'm sure they can be competitive in their non-body bag games. Listen, I'm a slightly under 500 middle school freshman AAU assistant basketball coach, and after watching the Lobos' victory yesterday, these two things jump out to me. Spacing. Their spacing is pedestrian at best. They get in each other's way offensively often, but I think that is something that can be addressed with regular full participation practices. The other is that these guys have one of the worst case of the yips team-wide that I have seen since Amari Brown's AAU team smoked us by 40. Outside of Malawach, no one is looking to take the open shot. Their unselfishness is leading to sloppy, too close passes to teammates not expecting the ball. Guys will take the desperation shot when the shot clock is running out, but man, do they pass on open good looks early in their sets. Reps and wins are the usual remedy, but unfortunately, some guys can't shake them quickly, and instead of taking open shots, they let their fear of missing shots keep them from running the sets that are designed. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Sad to hear about Hank Aaron, a true legend and an American hero. Bills and Packers in the Super Bowl because Rodgers is on a mission to Mahomes. Uncertainty might be enough to get the Bills over the top. Grady in Santa Fe by way of Albuquerque. What do you think of his assessment of your local basketball team?
I think he makes some really good points. And whether you want to call it unselfishness, the yips, there is a sense that no one wants to shoot the basketball, or they think it's going to be a bad shot they're going to miss. move it on, someone else, hot potato, get it out of my hands. And then you're left with a lot of those rough shots at the end of possessions.
Yeah, I think they look just horribly uncomfortable offensively. And I mentioned this at the end of the UNLV game. They just, they scored, 67 points yesterday. And this goes back to my constant theme on this. If someone wants to step up and, besides McQuatch Malawach, and take some pressure off and start, and your point is right. Watch some balls go through the hoop, right? Whether it's Singleton or, gosh, I'd like to see Francis make some shots. The other thing is, I'd love to see the evolution. Valdir has come further than I thought he would. I thought Matos would be their best post player, and Matos looks so uncomfortable offensively around the rim, don't you think?
Yeah, there's just a lot of growth that has to go on. It starts, with confidence and then ability, and it's just a lot of it is reps, and you're going to have to go through the bumps. Unfortunately, the warts for the Lobo basketball were just really bad against the top competition. I don't think the shooting is necessarily going to change all that much this season, which is what's on their roster, but it's just kind of like individual play. I thought, Valdir Manuel, at least the last couple of games, looks like he's taking a little bit of a step forward. He's taking less of those really bad shots in the post, just funky push shot, hook shots, and he's rebounding, he's using his length, he's stepping into confident threes. So it's those little things with guys that are going through this experience for the first time.
And I got a programming note from Jeffrey Candelaria. He said the Lobos are on noon tomorrow. The Gauntlet of Truth, his show, joined just afterwards over on News Radio KKB. Micah, help me settle a discrepancy. Do you have it in front of you? Is it noon tomorrow, Lobo basketball?
Let me go look.
All right. I could find it somewhere too. All right. So you're on the Bills tomorrow? I'm just going to go Chiefs just to go away from you. I'm going to go Chiefs and Packers. I'm going to go the two home teams, just so we're different. You down with that?
I'm Chiefs and Packers.
Yeah. Oh, you are Chiefs and Packers. I thought you were on the Bills.
I was circling the wagons. I was feeling it. I'm in Josh Allen. I think it's going to be a great game. But the tide towards Buffalo has me worried because the uncertainty of Pat Mahomes is real. But am I going to say, even Pat Mahomes at 90% can't be awesome, or Pat Mahomes at 85%?
Yeah, he can be.
I think he makes one more ridiculous play to beat Buffalo.
And this can be a legend-making game for him, right? Coming off of just getting broken the week before and didn't know until he was a game-time decision. He comes out, he does something stupid, and this can be a legend-making game for him. It's like the Michael Jordan flu game. You know what I mean? What are those? All right, what'd you find out, Micah?
The game's at 1 o'clock. Pre-game's 12:30.
All right, so somewhere in the middle between you two. 12:30 pregame show, 1 o'clock tip time over on News Radio KKOB tomorrow. Lobos and San Jose State. It's that's another one of those Mountain West Network games, correct? The way I see it, I believe that's true. All right, that was a fine stream. I love the guy, the color guy, telling me that that this is the best the Mountain West has been, top to bottom. I'm like, have you looked at the bottom of the league? Okay, look at them. They're in front of you, staring you in the face.
I stopped looking at after 6 teams down.
1 minute.
I mean, what are we doing? And then he's telling me, Malawach is a great shooter. He's turned himself into the overuse of the word great. Like, hit me with good, and we're absolutely adequate.
I'm with you on that, but I will say appreciate those guys jumping into Mountain West basketball.
No doubt. The word great, though, man.
Overused. Absolutely.
Thanks to Doug Martin for being with us. Jim Rome Show is next. Dan Patrick Show after that. Sports Bar at 3 with Trulio and Carlisle. Fellas, all y'all, Josh, Alden, Micah, great work. JJ, have a great weekend. Enjoy the fight.
Have a day, y'all.
I'll be over. I'll sit in I'll watch through the window since we got a social distance, so I can.
Yeah, I'll open the front door and you can look through the glass door.
All right. Be good to each other, please. Have a great, safe weekend. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you on Monday.
Dorian over. Did he get
Yeah,
in?
they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.